Now that we've completed our free write activity, we're going to get into the next phase of our learning, where we're really going to get into what is this rejection and what is this so-called crisis of belonging that we keep talking about, okay? So if you look here on this next slide, I'm going to share with you just one definition of a way to kind of frame your mind around this word rejection. Okay, and so really when we think about rejection, what we're really talking about here is this destabilization of our need to belong. Okay, so this explanation comes from Psychology Today, and they explain this need to belong as such. We all have a fundamental need to belong to a group. When we get rejected, this need becomes destabilized, and the disconnection we feel adds to our emotional pain. Reconnecting with those who love us or reaching out to members of groups to which we feel strong affinity and who value and accept us has been found to soothe emotional pain after a rejection. Feeling alone and disconnected after a rejection, however, has an overlooked impact. And so after listening to that, I want you to just kind of think back to a time where you may have felt a sense of rejection, whether that be from a family member, a significant other, somebody within your professional world, maybe a school experience, where you just had that gut feeling of just like, ooh, that didn't feel good, right? I wasn't accepted. I didn't get exactly what I intended to receive. And I just want you to think back and take just a mindfulness moment and how did that feel within your body? And what was the first thing you did after you felt that? Some of us may just take a moment to ourselves, take a walk. Who did you think to call or text or reach out to? Who was your person? Okay. Now I want you to consider how would you have felt? How further would you have been impacted if that person that you went to connect with, or that activity that you went to go do, or that group you went to go be a part of rejected you again? And so now you have this second layer of rejection that you had to face from back to back. Who would be the next person you would call? Who would be the next best thing for you to kind of reach out to and connect with when dealing with that level of rejection? Now I want you to think of a third person or a third group or a third place you may think to go after feeling that double layer of rejection. And imagine they also rejected you. Or maybe they didn't confirm or affirm the way you were feeling, or they didn't believe that rejection was as big of a deal as the way that you have felt it or experienced it within your body. Now you're at kind of your last resort, and you're feeling this ultimate level of rejection, this pain, this sense of loneliness, this emptiness within you, and the only place for you to go is a stranger or a group that you have never participated in before. And imagine how intense that feeling might be for you. And I want you to try and think and have just a little bit of an empathy moment, because the members of our LGBT community face this on a regular basis. For some, it may be their best friend didn't accept them, their family didn't accept them, their school, their workplace, their community, their neighbor. None of them were accepted for being the most authentic versions of themselves. And such, maybe they had to go to a different PFLAG group or a different group within the community or a space within the community with other members of the LGBT community who were complete strangers to that person. And that was the first place they felt any level of acceptance. That is the crisis of belonging that we are talking about. The next phase of this, I want to share just a little bit more research and statistics, again, on this broader spectrum of how this rejection really manifests within our society and what that impact is like for our LGBT community. So on this next slide, I'm just going to run you through. I just want you to glance over some of these statistics, and I'm just going to point out a few. 85.2% of LGBT youth report being harassed at school due to their sexual orientation. 85%. If you think back to the beginning of our learning together, you may recall a quote that we shared where we talked about how the intention of this learning has absolutely nothing to do with changing your beliefs or changing your values and how you live your life. But when you hear this statistic that 85% of LGBT youth are being harassed within our schools just because of their sexual orientation, we have to respond to that call for help. We have to create these environments where all kids can show up authentically who they are and be accepted and be willing to be served and learn to the best of their ability, because they deserve that too. And if you look down further on our list of statistics, I want you to notice 31.8% of our LGBT youth missed at least one entire day of school per month simply because they reported feeling unsafe at school. Now, I know in our school systems, we all work tirelessly to instill in our students and our families the importance of showing up to school every single day of the school year. And that even just missing one day can set a child's back in their learning significantly. And we work tirelessly to figure out the root cause of these absences. We work tirelessly with our families and our community members to remove some of these barriers to why a student isn't coming to school, whether it be transportation or resources or lack of childcare for other siblings. And we know the list is exhausting. Imagine now for a moment that the sole reason a child isn't coming to school is because they feel unsafe to be who they are. Have we ever stopped within our attendance teams, our leadership meetings, our collaboration with our colleagues, of asking and just wondering and being curious, does it have anything to do with the child feeling safe enough to be who they are at school and be accepted and feel like they belong within our learning communities?